I just want to let everyone know that I drank way too much caffeine and I feel like a psychopath right now talking to the camera. Like I feel like I'm having some weird outer body experience, and I just had to say that to the camera and to let you guys know because that's so relevant to this video. But today's video, it's probably going to be one of my favorites that I've ever filmed, which is just going to be me talking about early 2000s trends. Now I'm not gonna really do this as a lookbook style, so what I'm gonna do is kind of similarly to what I did to my fall, or was it fall, with my spring 2018 trends, where I'm gonna talk about the trends first, and then in a separate video I'm gonna actually show you guys the trends like versus lookbook style, because you guys know I talk way too much like I am right now, and I just want to, you know, get everything out there. And yeah, if you guys aren't following me on my Instagram, it's just gonna be at 1-800-BUY, and I'm only saying that because I don't know, I like to post a lot of early 2000s stuff on there. And then if you do like my style or anything like that, or you want to pick something up, I do resell, and my Depop is going to be at Viola Demyan, so I don't know, you could get some like cool early 2000s stuff if you're into that, and this video makes you want to go into that era. But yeah, I have my little book right here of all the trends that I wrote down that I think. Now of course in the early 2000s there's literally so many trends, it's exhausting to even like I could not fit it all in one video, but I'm just going to talk about probably some of my favorites. So the trend that I'm actually not really going to talk about, but I feel like I have to mention, is definitely going to be the velour tracksuit. Now I'm not going to include this as part of the trend just because I did make a whole separate video talking about the velour tracksuit. So if you want, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll link it somewhere. And then I also do have like an early 2000s hair and face video, makeup video. So if you want, you could also check that one out. And now we're going to get into the trends. So trend number one, I could definitely make a whole video about this because there's so many. It's definitely gonna be the hair. These days I feel like people's hair is either just curly or just straight, or it's either just black, ombre, or just, you know, blonde. Back in the day, okay, it was not that long ago, but in the early 2000s there was always something going on. So for today's video I kind of just put these blonde extensions and kind of did the whole Christina Aguilera reverse, and I put these little braids in, and you saw this everywhere with the whole like chunky highlights or braids. A lot of people would do like exactly like this, but then they would have random pieces crimped, like not the whole hair. Like literally if I were to just take like this piece of my hair and crimp it and just do it throughout, and it was just kind of messy, really textured hair was probably the best way. Lizzie McGuire, if you guys ever grew up watching that, she had some of the best representation of early 2000s hair in that show. Like, oh my gosh, I mean, I'll post up some pictures, and it was so many things going on, whether it was like butterfly clips, and not just like the Bella Hadid where she puts like the two clips right here, if you guys know what I'm talking about, like the very like cute and girly, but this was like really not grungy, but just really messy. And I feel like messing up your hair is probably the best way to turn a modern outfit into an early 2000s. So if you don't really like early 2000s wear, but you kind of want to make it look like you stepped out of the early 2000s, it's just play with your hair. Literally get extensions. If you have blonde hair, get black extensions. If you have like reverse, like how I have black hair, put in blonde, and then just kind of play with the texture, like crimp it, curl it, braid it, freaking put like a headband, butterfly clips, like anything. There was always something going on. Trend number two is gonna fit on with the hair again. It's gonna be headscarves. Now this is something that I kept seeing over and over again when I just like, if you just type in like early 2000s outfits, all you'll see is just headscarves, like whether it be a bandana or like an actual just scarf with a ponytail and then like the long string hanging out. It was literally, I feel like, the most used accessory when it came to the early 2000s, and the hair, it just made everything look so, I hate using this, but like badass. So a lot of performers like Christina Aguilera and J-Lo would do the whole they would do the bandana, like an actual bandana, and they would match like their outfit so when they would perform. And then you had just people like Snooki and the Jersey Shore, they would just wear it like if they went to work or something. And I think it just is so cute because it really like spices up an outfit. Trend number three. Now before I start getting into all of the clothes, I might as well just say the entire concept of of the early 2000s was matching your color tones. And I'm not talking like the cute color tones that we see now, which Fashion Nova does that a lot with like just the cute little like nude bandeau and like nude leggings. Like no, I'm talking like taking your most ugliest, tackiest things and just matching the tone. So kind of right now would be a little bit of an example, like so taking like a really like just cringy worthy top, like this one says Crybaby, and then putting in some tacky jewelry, like how I have these two earrings. By the way, I did get this from Zaful. These are from Forever 21 if anyone wanted to know, but you guys kind of get the idea, and I'll put up some pictures. So if you were to take, for example, like a pink Juicy Couture like bedazzled top and then putting some pink camo pants, like just really cringeworthy. Like some of the brands would be Ed Hardy, again Juicy Couture, I'm like, I can't even think at the top of my head, like BB, just all of those really extra tacky 2000s brands slapped all together. And it's kind of the same thing with labeling, which will be a whole other trend. So tying into trend number 4, which is gonna be shirts with sayings or even just branded things where their logo is just slapped onto it. So again, I have this shirt that says Crybaby. That is something, if you guys watch any of my hauls, is probably my favorite thing. I love bitchy sayings, even when I go thrifting, like any little girl's top that says like, oh, all about me, or just think of those tops that you wore in elementary school, like the Happy Bunny, or even things like Abercrombie. That was so like all over the early 2000s. I feel like that's why, you know, you don't really see a lot of Abercrombie anymore because it's just not really in. But I feel like the whole labeling is coming back, and I am just seriously so in love with that trend. Like, does anybody remember in elementary school, like if you had Abercrombie and it was just a shirt that said Abercrombie on it, you were literally the shit? And then when you were like in 2nd grade, if you had Happy Bunny, you were the shit. And then like as you got older, if you had slapped on Louis Vuitton, just like the purse, or even like the headscarf Louis Vuitton, which is the really color-coded, like as you got older it just became more popular, just the brand switched out. It was literally the best. Again, if you walk into any Forever 21 right now, you can pretty much just be early 2000s. You just got to get a shirt on it, something that is like kind of bitchy but not really like, oh, I love pizza, like not those sayings. But I have got, if you do watch any of my Forever 21 hauls, a lot of shirts that says like all about me, like really little girl sayings is probably my favorite thing that I like to do today. I'm not really into the whole like Abercrombie or anything like that, but I do love a good like t-shirt or tank top with a glittery logo. So I have a lot of just BB shirts that will literally in rhinestone just says BB, love that. Or again, just a tank top that says Juicy, love that too. I'm really into those, and that's another good way that you can but like bring the early 2000s back. You know, you don't have to wear like the whole Abercrombie or just really branded, like for example Ed Hardy, like that type of stuff. Like you don't have to go all the way out, but bitchy sayings and just rhinestone logos are like the best. Which leads me to trend number 5, and I kind of already covered it. It's just anything tacky, whether you're like a girly girl, so you would do all the whole juicy and rhinestones like Paris Hilton vibes, or you're the more like Ed Hardy, just really, I don't even know like what to describe that. It's like kind of like a tattoo design, but not really, just like, no, it is. It's like a tattoo tacky design, which is more like the Jersey Shore style. Or you have just more like laid back, which would be Von Dutch, Miss Me, anything like that. Just something when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's definitely like, you don't see that anymore. Like Juicy, Ed Hardy, Von Dutch, Miss Me, they just don't, brands like that don't really exist anymore. Everything's a little bit more simple. I feel like back then it was just a competition of who could be the tackiest. Like the ugliest freaking picture of Kim Kardashian, okay, it's not ugly, but she's like wearing just full on, I think it's Ed Hardy, like the freaking shirt matches the hat. And I like, if you look at any early 2000s picture, I swear they were all in competition of like who could be the most tackiest with their brands, whether it be like everything rhinestoned. And I my favorite is when it's on the sunglasses. So like it would be like rimless and then the rhinestones on the sunglasses, and then you would have like the rhinestones on the pockets, and then you even had the whole body chain. I think that is so cute with the rhinestones, and just mix and matching and playing with the trends today is just so freaking fun. Again, like how I mentioned, my favorite thing is like the tops with the rhinestones and just the logo. That is like my favorite thing right now. Trend number 6 is gonna be the hoe top. Now I don't really know exactly like how to call it, but I'm just gonna categorize it as the hoe top, meaning that every single shirt was just like hoe, like stepped out of an early 2000s music video hoe. Whether you had like those just regular kind of blouses that buttoned up but then would leave like a bunch coming out, like it's split. I mean, you'll see the pictures. Or you would wear a corset as a like shirt. There was also, I mean, still today we have it, but like really tight shirts. So whether it be just a tube top, a tight tube top, or just a tight spaghetti strap tank top, kind of like the 90s silhouette of not silhouette but neckline, just a straight neckline. A lot of what are these called, halter tops. Just think anything tight and small and shows like a lot of skin, not necessarily like boobs out, but just like very short, like very revealing, provocative. A lot of silky tops, like lingerie tops. I mean we still see that today, but I feel like that is very popular. It was more of like the Desperate Housewives or Paris Hilton when it comes to the silky tops, which leads me to trend number 7. Now if you weren't like into the whole hoe tops, you had the little girls tops. Now I don't really know exactly how to describe this. I will be showing a lot of it in the lookbook, but it's just pretty much just very pretty and frilly and kind of like Devin Carlson style tops. If you see a lot of the tops that she wears when it's just shirts, like I feel like those I just really like can't really describe it, so I'm gonna grab a shirt and show you guys. I found a shirt. It's gonna look like this, so if you guys get like the general idea, it's just when you look at it again, you see it and you're like, that's definitely like not made today. You don't see shirts like this ever really, unless it's more of like the vintage, like Reformation Realization type of style. I mean, they don't make those shirts, but it's just kind of like when I think like, oh, who would make it, it would be those type of stores. All of the shirts that I bought like this are at the thrift store. You can walk into any thrift store and you will find a shirt like this. That's pretty much all the top section, and I freaking am like obsessed with it. Another like good word that they wore back in the day is like the peasant top, which is just kind of like, again, like the stretchy, but it goes off and then cinches at the bottom. I don't really like that, but I do have a shirt up like that on my Depop right now as well. And yeah, I just think it's so cute and fun and girly, and it was always paired with like denim flare jeans, some kitten heels, and a really small handbag. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite trends of the early 2000s. Trend number 8. Are we on trend number 8? I think so. Yeah. Again, I feel like all of these are my favorite, but it's gonna be the miniskirt, and Paris Hilton I feel like did it the best, but then also you had like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, like they made it like the it status to wear a miniskirt, and it was mainly denim miniskirts, and if it was bedazzled it was even like a bigger plus. Yesterday I wore a miniskirt and like a crop top and a trucker hat, and I'm not gonna lie, I almost felt uncomfortable because I was like walking around and I felt almost too hoe in what I was wearing. And yeah, I felt very provocative and I felt like I needed to be in some hoe music video. But again, it's one of my favorite trends is the mini skirt. It is just so legendary, and it's a bonus also if it's low rise. If it's high rise, it's a little bit more different, but I don't really think they make like mini skirt high rises. That would be weird. I mean, like the skirt I'm wearing right now could be considered mini, but it's not really because it's high rise. So think of it like low rise mini skirt, because that is like really hoe. Which brings me to trend number 9. It's gonna be the low rise. Now don't get me wrong, I personally prefer high rise. I just like high rise better, but it's something about any time I wear low rise, I just feel like such a bad bitch, like a mean girl in a movie video hoe. It's a very big bonus if you have your belly button pierced, just to kind of like show it off, but you gotta kind of be careful because again, it could look really trashy. But the early 2000s was just a trashy era when it came to fashion. But low rise, like flare jeans with one of those, again, tops that like splits down the middle. That is so freaking cute. And then if you had like the body chain going on or just the belly button ring, I mean, Paris Hilton, again, was the queen of low-rise. Like a lot of the, it was like the tie, what is it called? The tie kind of ribbon up, really low-rise pants was really popular. And I mean, all I'm saying is, if you watch The Simple Life or just look up Pinterest, Paris Hilton early 2000s, she wore some extremely low-rise stuff, like to the point where it was like, you know, there's no way they were wearing underwear because the underwear would show because it was that low-rise. But yeah, again, love low-rise. It just screams, I'm a bad bitch. Definitely out of order, I feel like I should have mentioned this in the beginning, was gonna be the trucker hats. Now, of course, the most famous like Von Dutch hat or the Ed Hardy, not even Ed Hardy, but really like tattooed type. I am just all about the whole freaking trucker hats. I think they're still so cute. Again, I said it earlier, but I just wore a trucker hat the other day and it says, don't touch 1-800-YOU-WISH, which is kind of like my Instagram saying 1-800-BUY, but I just thought it was like so freaking cute. I mean, actually, you will see it in my lookbook. I was gonna show you guys, but I'm gonna mention it in my lookbook, which you guys will see. But again, a trucker hat. Screw your baseball cap, like Adidas, whatever. Get a trucker hat with a bitchy saying on it. Just go to Forever 21, I'm sure they have it, or order a Von Dutch one off Amazon. Leading me to the last trend, which I feel like I didn't even cover that many trends. I could cover so many, but it's gonna be extra accessories. Now, again, I was talking about the sunglasses with the rhinestones or the body chains, just any tacky as accessory that you can think of. It was just like the best in the early 2000s. I was just watching The Simple Life and Paris Hilton was wearing literally, again, all orange, which brings us back to like one of the first trends that I was talking about. And then she was wearing the hugest like orange beaded necklace and it was just, it didn't even make sense. But early 2000s was anything but plain. I feel like these days, like now in our era, it's just you wear like the simple like shirts and then you have like the very delicate jewelry. Like a lot of people will wear a lot of jewelry, but it's mainly just a lot of like delicate ones, like very delicate chains, which they would layer, or like a lot of rings, or even a lot of I forgot what they're called. Wow. The rings with the stones on them. I don't know why I can't think of it right now, but those are really in right now. But back in the day, it was all about the tacky. As long as you had rhinestones literally everywhere, it was the #1 accessory. Again, matching your handbag color to the color of your outfit was also really big. We also had the studded belt that is actually coming back in again. I think have one up on my Depop for you guys if you guys are interested. And then leading to the last one, which is going to be the whole nameplate that I feel like started with Sex and the City, how Carrie had her necklace, and you also saw in a lot of like celebrities. They would wear, whether it would be their name in rhinestone or they would have just the initial of their name. And now you see nameplates of like star signs and that really cool font. What is it called? I'll prop it up. I used to use it a lot in my thumbnail, like the Old English. That's what it is. The Old English font is really popular right now with the nameplates. Like you just see them coming back. Back in the day it was more bedazzled. Now it's not. Like not a lot of people have bedazzled. It's more just the like pretty little cursive or the Old English writing. See, I'm telling you guys, I drank way too much coffee. I feel like I'm like totally out of it. But yeah, that is pretty much it for all these trends. Definitely keep a lookout for the lookbook portion of it, where I will be actually showing you guys the outfits versus like here I'm just blabbering on and talking about it forever and showing you guys examples of it. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Let me know what was your guys' favorite early 2000s trend. There was definitely so many more. Again, I can make a whole other video again talking about more trends that I didn't mention. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and do all of that, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!